Hi, morning. My name is Hannah, and I am so excited to be here talking to you about my 8 email marketing secrets. And this is really a beginner's guide because I know so many want to get into email marketing but don't even know where to start or feel very intimidated about all the things that come along with email marketing. So, this is very much a beginner's guide. So, if you know nothing about email marketing, I'm your girl. This is your video, and can't wait to get started with you guys. So, a little bit about me, just so you know who you're talking to. My name, again, like I said, is Hannah. I am the marketing manager here at Ugly Mug. I love event planning and I love email marketing, all things marketing, really. My favorite four-legged friend is my little poodle named Ellie. This is a picture of her at the beach. She loved the beach when we went a few years ago. My husband's favorite place to go is Glacier National Park in Montana. And we also just booked a trip to Banff National Park, which is the Canadian Rockies. So it's still that same mountain range. I am definitely a mountain girl. And I love plants. I have a bunch of plants in my house. I mean, it doesn't look like a forest or anything, but I try to keep all of my plants alive. So if you have any plant tips or anything like that, if you're also a plant lover, let me know. By the way, while we're here, go ahead and comment below if you're watching, just maybe your name, where you're from, any of those things I should have mentioned. If you don't know already, Ugly Mug is based out of Louisiana. So we're going to get into those 8 tips. The first one is be legit. And what do I mean by being legit? Actually using an authentic email address associated with a correct domain versus like Gmail or Yahoo or anything like that. So whenever we send out mass emails or newsletters from Ugly Mug Marketing, it is hannah@uglymugmarketing.com. It's not hannahUMM@Gmail or hannahUMM@Yahoo or anything like that. You want to have a paid email address so that you're actually being authentic. And that helps with deliverability, but it also just helps with credibility. So it just makes you seem more of an established business by having the email address associated with your domain. So what the domain portion means is uglymugmarketing.com is our website, and my email address is that same format. Did you know that it is technically illegal to send out mass emails without an unsubscribe button? So that unsubscribe button is super duper important to have whenever you're sending out mass newsletters, email marketing. However, it's super easy to get that added. So using a email newsletter software such as MailChimp or Constant Contact or Flowdesk, I don't know what it's called, something like that. It is super important to use a software like that. MailChimp, for example, is free for, I think it's under 1,000 subscribers, and it will automatically put that unsubscribe button there for you. So highly recommend using a software of some sort. It really takes out a lot of that guesswork and that manual manipulation of things that you might have to do. It will automatically do all the things that make you look credible and legit when you're sending out emails. The second one is to always proof on a mobile device. 9 out of 10 times when you are creating an email marketing newsletter, you're creating it on a desktop. And so your natural inclination is to make it optimized for a desktop. However, there's tons of stats, different stats over the internet, but what you need to know is the majority of people are going to open your email on an iPhone or some type of mobile device. Something else that's super interesting, me and my coworker Lily were talking about this one day. So I receive emails in the actual mail app that comes with the iPhone. However, my coworker Lily was opening her emails in the Gmail app. So don't just check them on a phone in general. Check them in different ways that you can consume email on your phone. So via the Apple app, the Gmail app, maybe you have another coworker that has a non-Apple phone, like an Android phone. Check it in as many places as possible to make sure that the viewer is getting the best experience. So what I personally do is I proof it when I'm proofing it, I send a test email to my work email and open that in Gmail, both on my desktop and on my iPhone. And then I'll also send it to my personal email address so that I can make sure that I'm looking at it in multiple different ways and that it is a good viewing experience for the user. The next one is be on time. If there is one question that I get more often than anything else, it is what day and what time is best to send an email. It's not a hard, fast answer. It really depends on you and your industry and your demographic that you are emailing to. However, I do have some baseline information that will help kind of get you in the right place. So 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. are optimal times somewhat for the same reason. So this is what studies show, is that whenever you get to work or get your day started or whatever, you are like going 90 to nothing, and you typically get a little bit of a lull at 10 a.m. in the morning and or at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And that's when you kind of start to wander off and possibly checking emails. So 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. is a really good time. And then 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. are also really great times because, and I know I'm guilty of this, people check their emails right before they go to sleep and typically first thing when they wake up in the morning as well. And again, I know it's not a great habit, but for people that are viewing their emails like that, you get them in a more maybe concentrated, isolated situation, because when they're checking it right before they go to sleep or right when they wake up, they are not being distracted by all the things going on around them. So 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m., 6 a.m. But again, do not isolate yourself to only these times because it really depends on you and your audience. So for example, one of our clients is a pizza restaurant, and we have found over the years that people typically start making the decision as to what they're going to have for lunch around 9 or 10 a.m. So when we're sending out emails for this pizza restaurant, we typically send them between 9 and 10 a.m. We're not going to send it at 1:30 p.m. because that's right after lunch and too far before dinner. They already have a full belly and food is not typically on their mind. So that's a good example of how those times I just explained might not be the perfect relevancy for your demographic. Another one of our clients is women in agriculture. And so a lot of times these people are not looking at a computer all day. They are out in their farms, on their tractors, whatever they might be doing. And the best time to reach them is super early in the morning. So for that client, we send emails 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. to make sure that they get it and look at it before they go out the door into their farm in the morning. St. Patrick's Day, we just had St. Patrick's Day, any holiday, obviously for the majority, you don't want to send a happy Easter or happy St. Patrick's Day at 9 p.m. You want to do that super early in the morning so that they can actually appreciate your email throughout that entire holiday. And then the last one, this is actually dependent on the day of the week, but did you know that typically people try to eat healthier at the beginning of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, and they typically kind of fall off track by the end of the week. So if we were advertising about a salad or a healthier option, it's best to advertise that earlier in the week on like a Monday and Tuesday, sending out an email about that versus sending out an email about a salad at 2 p.m. on a Friday, because at 2 p.m. on Friday, people are typically like looking forward to the weekend and doing something fun, and they're not typically eating a salad. Number 4 is to not be a spammer. So make sure that you're not emailing people that didn't give you permission to email them, and don't purchase a list. So we're going back to what I talked about earlier, having a MailChimp or Constant Contact or some kind of email software like that, and how important that is. However, that also means don't purchase a list and just upload it and just start emailing those people, because I'm sorry, I just saw an email on YouTube. It says Women in Agriculture is your client. And yes, we just helped with the Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference and Expo. I guess that was last week, 2 weeks ago. So yes, they are one of our clients. So make sure that you're not mass uploading email lists that are not people that gave you permission to email them, whether that is via purchasing a list or maybe you were given a list. The worst thing that you could do is if you have a friend who has a similar target audience and they're like, hey, here's a list of email addresses, upload it. Because the problem with that is, A, they didn't give you permission, so it's technically not legal. But secondly, even if you want to do it, the problem is the deliverability and people marking you as spam is going to be a lot higher, because when you start getting emails from people that you didn't ask to get an email from, you're going to mark it as spam or unsubscribe or any of those kinds of things. And just the overall credibility of your email address is just not going to be where you want it to be. And then also links are super important in the way that you utilize links in your email. So instead of using like a shortener, like a bit.ly, or plugging in the entire link, just plopping it into your email, you want to actually link your text or use a button. So hyperlink the word. So like click here and make here a link, or use a button. Buttons are typically way prettier and can draw people's attention more than just hyperlinking text. But regardless, what you don't want to do is just plop a really long a really long link in the middle of your email. Number 5 is consistency is key. That is true with almost anything in life. Consistency is key, and it definitely reigns true for email marketing. So what I like to tell people is choose a goal that is achievable. So if emailing every single week is achievable for you, great, do that. If emailing every other Thursday is achievable for you, wonderful, make that your goal. Maybe it's just once a month on the first day of every month, and that is perfectly good as well. Just make sure that you are being consistent, that a lot of people, you'll see that they're like radio silent throughout the entire year. And then when it comes to like Christmas time, they start bombarding people with emails. So radio silent and then lots of emails. That's not good. You want to remain consistent and prevalent in these people's email inboxes, so that when you are giving them valuable content and you want them to open it, they're used to hearing from you. This is a whole longer discussion, but if you've heard us talk about the natural progression, you want to be their friend and not be a stranger. Hey, you haven't heard from me in 2 years, but buy my stuff. No, you want to be their friend, have that credibility with them. And then when Christmas rolls around, hey, buy my stuff. And maybe they'll do that because they're a friend and they trust you and they believe in you and all of those kinds of things. A potential customer must see a message at least 7 times before they'll be provoked to take action. So the consistency in your newsletter list and actual number of times per month or per week that you send one out is super important, but it's also important to be consistent in your messaging across all of your marketing. So if you are doing snail mail or Facebook or a billboard or your website or radio, whatever it might be, remember to be consistent in your messaging, what you're emailing people about and what you're posting on your other marketing platforms, to make sure it all aligns so that people can hear it from a bunch of different directions and will be more likely to take that action. All right, before I move on to the next one, I see there's a comment. What are your thoughts on hyperlinking a bit.ly so you can still see the clicks? Yes, that's absolutely fine. I do that often too. So if you're not familiar with bit.ly, it is an email shortener, but it also allows you to track and see how many people clicked a link, which is super important. So that's perfect. Hyperlinking a bit.ly is fine. Just don't plop in the bit.ly so where the whole URL is visible within your email. If anybody else has questions, definitely plop them in the comments below. I love getting to answer questions, and I'll definitely leave some time at the end as well if you have any questions there, but in real time, plop them there. All right, number 6 is mix it up. So this is kind of goes hand in hand with what I just said a second ago about you don't want to constantly say, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You want to build that credibility so that your audience becomes a friend and they know and they trust you, so that when you begin to ask them to purchase your stuff, they do. So here's an example of that. So maybe you do a product spotlight and then more of an educational, here's the product, not overly salesy. It could even be an example of a customer using that product. Then the next one would be overly salesy. Hey, here's this product, make sure you purchase it. It would be a great purchase to make before you go on vacation next week. Very direct and asking them specifically to purchase something. The next one could be educational. So, how to use that product, examples of how other customers have used the product. And then you can be salesy again. And then offer a free resource. So, maybe that is a downloadable booklet or a free chapter of your book, or maybe it's allowing them to join a webinar or something for free. But you want to mix in what you tell people so that it builds trust, but it's also that they don't unsubscribe, because if all you're doing is constantly saying, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, like that's no value. You want to mix and match your content to really create an overall good marketing presence with your consumers. And then this goes hand in hand with having a clear call to action. First, what's a call to action? A call to action is literally directs your subscribers on the desired action to take. So you're telling them what action you want them to take. By doing this, it increases the chances of conversions and achieving your marketing goals. So if you have an email with a bunch of different information, but you need to kind of like work backwards. What is your goal? When you send out this email, is your goal to get them to purchase something? Is it to get them to sign up for an event? Is it for them to call you? Is it for them to come into your store? You need to tell people what that desired call to action is, and then make it easy for them to achieve that CTA. So some examples of that could be shop now, claim your free trial, download now, register, get a quote, follow us on social media, whatever that is. Highly recommend having one of those in your email so that people know what the action is. And sometimes if it's just an educational email, you don't have to have a call to action. This is a personal pet peeve of mine, but nothing drives me more nuts than when you get an email, and this is not a client of ours, this is just a random example that I found online. But say, for example, that you get an email about this white shirt, and it's like, hey, you should buy this white shirt. And then it says, take another look, and you click through and it goes to the homepage of the website. By the time I filter through the website and find this shirt, it's going to take me more time and I might not ever get there. So you want to make it as easy as possible in a direct line as possible to get people to make that purchase. People overall are lazy, myself included. If you directed me to the homepage and I started searching and I couldn't find what I wanted to look for, I might get distracted, or I might just say, never mind, it's not worth it. But if it's a very direct click, here's the shirt, we recommend this size, it's a much easier purchase. And along that same line, just a little bit of lagniappe, recommending having it where it is linked to Apple Pay or something like that to make it super easy to make that purchase. This is another example. Love Rifle Paper Co. and their stationery and all their things that they offer. But this was a great example. This is an email that I received. So, hey, greeting cards for every occasion. And this was a little moving video that had a bunch of different cards. And so when I clicked Shop Now, it brought me to the greeting card section of their page. So maybe not the specific greeting card, but it brought me to that section of their website and kind of helped me in the funnel of where I was trying to go. I'm going to answer another question. Based on your client observations, any insights on what triggers the Gmail promotion folder? I have to be honest, I don't have tons of experience with the promotion folder. My assumption would be that is, if it is sent from a software such as MailChimp or Constant Contact or anything like that, your receiver, so Gmail, can tell that it was sent as part of a bulk email versus a direct me to you email. And then it also, I think it works based on if you can like click it and say this is a promotional email or not. So it's based on like one to many versus one to one. And unfortunately, that's kind of unavoidable and just kind of part of it. Number 8 is to test and analyze. So based on the question about going into the promotion folder on Gmail, I think it's important, it's super important to get people to open your email and get them to read your email and get them to click through your email and all of those different things to differentiate yourself from all those other emails in someone's email inbox. So continuously test different elements of your email campaigns, such as subject lines, call to actions, content, and see what resonates best with your audience. So create your email and do what you think is going to work, but then look at your data. That is reason number 724 as to why MailChimp or Constant Contact or anything like that is so important, because it allows you to see those results and analyze those results to make better decisions each and every time you send an email. So what does that mean? Here are some examples. This is a snapshot of the inside of MailChimp and what that could look like. So you can actually see how many people you sent an email to. And that is something that is often overlooked as something that's important. So I'm going to step back so you can see my full funnel. Your funnel is how many people you have in your email list. This many people are in your email list. This many people will open it. This many people will click through to your website, and this many people will actually make a purchase. So having the top of your funnel big and having a lot of recipients in your email is important, so that when you get to the bottom, it's still a big number. Because if your number up here is pretty small, when you get to the bottom, it's just going to trickle out and it's not going to turn those results that you might want. Another thing, if you are an e-commerce website, you can link your e-commerce site to MailChimp, and they can actually tell you of the orders that were placed on your website, how many orders, what price the average order was, and total revenue that was made through your email. I love looking at this kind of data. For one of my clients, this was a few years ago, but it was riveting to me to be able to tell. I could go on the back end of their website and say, I'm just going to give you a rough number, a random number, really. Let's say they made $10,000 in 1 month. Well, $10,000 total online sales. And then when I went into MailChimp, I could tell that 4,500 of that was made from that email. So that means your email marketing is working. If almost close to half of your revenue is coming from email marketing, keep doing it. It's working. And if that's the opposite is true, if you see that you made $10,000 in sales and only 200 of that came from email marketing, it ain't working and you need to change something. So pay attention to the data and make actions based on that. And then in MailChimp or whatever software you're using, you can also see open rate and click rate. So open rate is literally what it sounds like, the percentage of people that actually opened your email based on the number of people that received your email. And then click-through rate means they opened your email and then there was a button to go to your website or go to your YouTube channel or whatever it might be, and they clicked and took that action. The most popular question I get whenever I show somebody something like this is, what is a good open rate and what is a good click-through rate? So the average open rate across all industries, and y'all, there are tons and tons and tons of different numbers online, but on average, it's that like 40% range is average open rate. Honestly, anything above 20% is a good number. So if you're between 20 and 40, you're doing good. If you're above 40, you are doing really, really good. And share your tips with the world, because getting a higher and higher open rate is one of your goals, because they're never going to click through to your website if they don't open your email in the first place. That brings us to click-through rate. So that means they opened your email and then they clicked your call to action button. The average on that is much lower. So again, that funnel is lower, is only 8%. So just use that as a baseline and kind of see, is your stuff working? Is your emails not working? and how you should change moving forward. I have another question saying, what is your number one tip on growing your email list through social media promo? You have to incentivize people. People want a bribe. Perhaps that is offering them, 20% off their next purchase or a free gift or this, that, or the other. You have to give them some kind of incentive. Another good one is saying that you have a discount on your birthday. So incentivize them some which way. And then this is a long topic for me to get too deep into right now. I know for a fact at some point one of my other coworkers has done a webinar on this, and feel free to reach out to me. I can send you some more resources on what this looks like. But email lead generation, or just lead generation period, on Facebook is excels anything else we've ever done as far as growing a newsletter list. So it sets up an ad and it's like, hey, if you want to join our newsletter list and get 20% off your next order, fill out the form below. You click the form and then it will auto fill that information based on what Facebook already knows about you, and they submit it. So it's super easy for the user, and then that sends that information to you. We use a software called Zapier, Zapier, that will take the Facebook lead generation information and plop it into whatever your email software is, and then you just keep rocking and rolling from there. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So be legit. Make sure that you are sending it from an authorized domain. Always proof on a mobile device. Be on time, whatever that might be for you and your target audience. Don't be a spammer. Be consistent. So be consistent in your messaging across all platforms, but also be consistent in emailing at least once a month. Mix it up. Have a clear call to action, and test and analyze and make differences in your marketing based on what you have learned. Okay, well, I hope that you guys learned a lot. I enjoyed teaching this class. I'm going to stay on if y'all have any additional questions, but I also wanted to offer a 15-minute one-on-one session with me. We've done this before and it has been very, very helpful. I know 15 minutes might not seem like a lot of time, but trust me, we can get a lot accomplished in 15 minutes. So I'll plop it here in just a second, a link to my calendar. So if you want to schedule a Zoom chat with me for 15 minutes, we can just talk and go through any specific marketing questions you have. It can be about email marketing. It can be about regular marketing. It can be about event planning, whatever that might be. And we'll just kind of talk. I'll help you troubleshoot those things, give you some advice on whatever you have questions on. And then I'll send you a very detailed recap with some resources that I think would be helpful based on our conversation. So if that is something that you think would be beneficial, let me know and utilize the link below that I'm putting in there right now to sign up and have a Zoom chat with me. So I am putting this here right now. Okay, it should be there in 2 seconds. Just click. Oh gosh, it broke up into several different. I think it worked. It may have. I'll check again as soon as we get off. But that link is below. Feel free to click it and schedule a Zoom chat with me. I love having these calls, learning about you and your business, answering any questions. But other than that, that's all I have for today. But I will stay online. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll answer them. If not, I will see you real soon. And thanks for joining me today. Someone asked, how are you using AI for email marketing? ChatGPT has really, really helped with email marketing. I mean, it's one of those things that it's only going to make you better. You don't need to fight it, utilize it. So using ChatGPT to actually create content for you, make sure to word your email in a way that is convincing people to actually do what you want them to do, create that call to action. That's super important. And then there's also some features. I haven't played with them tons, but within MailChimp is actually becoming AI smart. They'll help you generate email subject lines. That's a really cool one where you can split test different subject lines based on their recommendations or what has worked in the past. So definitely utilize it to your best interest because it can only help you. Okay, guys, I don't see any more questions, but if you have anything else, definitely let me know. Shoot me over an email or schedule a Zoom chat with me. I hope you have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye.